What's going on, guys? Welcome back to My Pump TV. My name is Jordan Shallow, powerlifter, strength and conditioning coach, and chiropractor. Today we're going to be going over through some progressions to get you into squatting. A lot of people want to get into the sport of powerlifting or powerlifting movements in their training and not sure where they should start. So today we're going to go over 5 movements that are going to progress you through the mechanics of the back squat in hopes that one day we can load up that powerlifting low bar back squat. So our first squat in this progression is going to be the counterbalance squat. So using a light plate, something we can hold at shoulder height at arm's distance away, we're going to initiate the first cue of the squat. Now what we're going to really focus on here is making this a knee dominant movement. The squat kind of exists through this pendulum of knees, hips, and back. Trying to keep our back very upright, allow the majority of this movement to happen primarily through the knees. So with a narrower than usual stance or narrower than our low bar stance, what we're going to do is we're going to hold this plate out at arm's length, fully extending the elbows. We're going to tuck our rib cage down, tuck our tailbone underneath, and allow our knees to travel forward over the toes, remaining an upright torso the entire time. All right, guys, so the second squat in this progression, we're gonna go from counterbalance into goblet. So we're gonna be moving that load a little closer to our base of support. And in doing so, it's gonna allow us to load up a little bit more weight. So we're gonna be a little bit more comfortable with heavier loads, still focusing on our cues. We're gonna initiate with the knees first, keeping the rib cage tucked down and maintaining an upright torso. So bringing our elbows under our wrists. We're gonna widen our stance slightly when compared to the counterbalance squat, initiating rib cage tucked down, knees drifting forward. We're gonna try and stay as upright as possible. All right, so our third progression is going to be sort of continuing this trend of moving that load closer within our base of support. So we started off with counterbalance, then goblet. Now we're going to introduce the barbell in a front squat position. So choosing your front rack of choice. You can either go cross shoulders, or you can kind of go the conventional front rack. As we walk out, we're going to drive those elbows up, flexing and externally rotating our shoulders, getting a slightly wider stance wherever you feel comfortable. Now, before we descend again, we're going to tuck that rib cage down, drive those elbows up, allow us to initiate the squat by bending the knee, trying to maintain an upright torso through that full range, leading with the sternum high out of the hole. So moving forward in the progression, our fourth squat variation that we're going to utilize once we've mastered the front squat is going to be now the high bar squat. So bar is going to be placed on the top of our chops. We're going to try and maintain an elbows under wrist position on the bar. So walking out, unrack with the legs, step forward, get a slightly wider stance, at wider every variation. Trying to keep the elbows under the bar, maintaining an upright torso. We're still going to initiate the squat by bending in the knees. So we're not going to sit back on the hips to initiate, tucking the rib cage down, core stays tight, bend the knees, and we slowly start to sit back into that bottom position, leg drive out of that hole with the sternum high. All right, so last in our progression towards the powerlifting low bar squat is the low bar squat. So far we started counterbalance, goblet, front, high, now into the low position. Some things to take into consideration. We're gonna try and make sure we keep a narrower grip on the bar, making sure we don't allow our shoulder mobility to push us out to the ends of the collars. So with this narrow grip, we're gonna try and squeeze our shoulder blades together, get that bar placed somewhere between the rear delts and what's called the spine of the scapula. We're gonna elevate off the rack by using our legs, walking out. Now in this position, we're still gonna initiate with the knees. We don't wanna ever initiate by throwing the hips back. If you find that you want to throw your hips back to initiate, the bar is simply too low. Make sure you raise the bar on your back so you can comfortably initiate with the hips and knees at the same time. So hips go back, knees go forward, and then slowly sink into this low bar squat position, sitting back, keeping your lats tight, elbows under the bar. For those of you who are a little bit larger, for those of you who are narrower, you can allow your elbows to flare back. The narrower the torso, the more you're gonna need to build that shelf for the bar to rest on. So for me, I'm gonna keep my elbows underneath, head slightly forward to start. As I take a breath in, tuck my rib cage down, pelvis comes underneath, knees and hips at the same time, opening my hips up as I descend into the hole, bringing my chin back, elbows stay forward, leg drive into the floor, and then back into that resting position at the top. So those are the 5 squat progressions that'll lead us into effectively utilizing the low bar squat. Now, if you're a little bit more advanced, you might want to try one of the regressions just to see how you do with the progression of time and load. Do more reps, do more sets, and introduce more volume of this movement until you really start to nail the pattern of the movement. If you're a complete beginner, I suggest starting at counterbalance and again, making progressions in time and load. right? As you can make progressions in the amount of reps, the amount of sets, and the amount of frequency we can do in a week, then we make a progression to the next pattern. So counterbalance to goblet, time and load. Goblet to front squat, time and load. And we continue that forth until we get to the low bar squat and we feel confident with the skill of squatting. So if you guys like this video, hopefully you found it helpful. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below. Be sure to turn on post notifications, subscribe, and then if you want more videos like this, check out my YouTube channel on YouTube at The Muscle Doc.